Hey, this is Commander Edelweiss from Lave Radio, and you're listening to the Loose Screws podcast. Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, greetings and 07s and happy evenings and mornings and wherever you are. Probably mornings when most of you are listening to this. This is Loose Screws, the loosest and screwiest of all the Elite Dangerous podcasts. I'm acting supreme ultimate commander JN Trax, filling in the role for our mighty founder Ty Worsham, who has stepped away. Maybe should I start using my name? Ty always used to use his name. Should I start using my name?
You do you, brother.
Yeah, you do you.
I knew you guys were
you
say that.
went ultimate supreme. You're going all kinds of adjectives.
Plenty of superlatives there. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I'm Commander
Least
Jansen.
horrible despot in the galaxy.
As you can hear, I am joined, of course, by Commander Chig. Hello.
Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm all right. And for the first time, and hopefully not, hopefully for many more times, Commander Nurgle is here with us. Welcome.
Greetings and salutations.
There we are. So there's all kinds of stuff going on at Elite. It's coming up to Halloween time. There's been additions to the game. There's been new mysteries, new puzzles, new stories. There's been wild weather in the United States, and parts of it at least. I wasn't sure Nurgle was even going to be able to be here, but apparently the power came back on. Is that right?
That is correct. Thanks to Hurricane Zeta, yes.
Hey, we're on Z already. I mean,
yeah, that means that we're 28 this year.
That's wild.
A record that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad everyone's okay and safe enough to do the podcast at least. There's, as I say, there's lots been going on. So a couple of days ago on Tuesday, there was the very, very entirely spooky voice-acted Lord Tour hosted by Commander Professor Awan. And that was a lot of fun. I did not get to follow along in-game, but I followed the stream, and it was very cool and very spooky. And the replay is available in the show notes. I don't know, what else to say, but there's some very cool stuff in there. Again, excellently put together. Thanks to Awan for putting that together.
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was some good spooky goodness. There's some awesome stuff in this game. For me, unfortunately, it turned into a night of just kind of frustrations because I got my new flight stick like a week ago, and we start this adventure, and I had gotten basically all my keybinds set up for some good combat, but all of a sudden, hey, getting an SRV, I couldn't move, had no keybinds for that. And then FSS, this next system, I don't have any keybinds for that. And it was one thing after another where we'd show up in a system and I'd end up spending 10 minutes doing keybinds. And so I was actually more or less watching the stream and listening to him narrate it and play the tapes at the end. I don't even think I got half the scans because I'd come into a system and couldn't do anything. I still had fun and got to see some pretty cool stuff.
And that man has an encyclopedic knowledge of this game. It's incredible.
Well, he has access to its encyclopedia. That's
true.
Yeah, I think he wrote part of the encyclopedia for this game.
All right, cool. Well, as I say, he has a Twitch video on demand set up for that, and I think that lasts 30 days. But then I think he moves them to YouTube anyway, so no worries there. So what else has been going on? Well, there was some community news in the wider Elite community. A commander called Thama. Thauma, Commander Thama, I think I'm saying that right, completed circumnavigating the galaxy in a fleet carrier. So first one to do so, which is obviously massive. There's a big write-up about it on Massively OP, and there's also a big Reddit thread. Link in the show notes to that web article. Pretty neat. Apparently, this was also this commander's first time going on a long exploration at all.
How many jumps was that?
I am trying to remember. I want to say the number is near 900 or something.
Wow.
952 jumps.
Didn't it use
took 4 months and 2 days.
84,000 tons of tritium or something like that? It was just a
lots of
crazy
mining. If you click on that massively OP article, which will be in the show notes, you can see the route that was taken. It really cool. It looks like started from Colonia, zipped out to the edge, and then went all the way around. There's a little jaunt into probably where the bubble is, if I'm looking at it correctly. I mean, this is crazy. way to go.
Yeah. Hats off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty intense.
Yeah, you look at the map of the galaxy, it's just literally just a big circle around, except for what goes out from Colonia and like into Sol. Or it's the guy's nuts.
Yeah. So that's wild. In other news, going kind of quickly, just because there's a lot to do and I want to have time to discuss stuff as needed. The Horizons fold down has happened. That means if you're a player of this game, you have Horizons now, whether you like it or not. If you already had Horizons, you now have a set of paint jobs for everything in the game. It's called, what is it called? Oh shoot. It's a nice like teal blue azure.
It is right? Slick.
It looks good. It looks good on every ship. SRV fighters, everything has it. Which is really cool. Nice of them to do. I have word here that the paint is not currently working on PS4. So PS4 players, just wait. It's cool. It looks cool. You'll get it too.
It's worth the wait.
Yes. And Chig has informed me that CQC is broken.
Yep. CQC matchmaking has been broken all day. Still not working now.
Oof.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So the update was just a server-side update. There wasn't any download on our end, so I was surprised to see things like that happening, but oh well. I'm sure it will come up fixed. There were some streams today, and they talked about some of this stuff, so it's known, it's being worked on. I'm sure they'll get it out as quickly as possible. And on that same vein of news, there is a Steam sale. The game is 75% off. That means it is, I think, $5, whatever their money is in England.
Yeah.
And it's like $7.50 American for the game, because now there's just one the game for a few months here.
I know a couple people I'm gifting it to then.
Yeah. So the great time to send a gift, great time to get a second commander. Horizons comes with it. There's no, there's no demarcation anymore, which is really exciting. So,
you see one other bit of news that I don't think we talked about. Did you see a couple weeks ago when David Braben tweeted at Elon Musk?
I noted that. Yes. Do you know if there have been any replies?
There, not that I know of. I just found it interesting. I'm just like, that's to me, that's an interesting marketing ploy. Like if Elon Musk actually like responded and like brought something from Elite Dangerous into space, that would be a lot of free press that you could get out of it. And I believe Braben or Musk at one point has mentioned Elite Dangerous, one of the older versions of the game, as a game that he's liked. So I'd love like to see something come from it
for being into space and stuff.
FDev needs to put the car with the spaceman in it in Sol.
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. Right? It's like because that would be licensing. Because it would go the other way. You're thinking about like advertising for Elite Dangerous. If they were to send, what are they going to send? A model of a Cobra Mark IV or something on a rocket. It could go the other way around, right? Is he going to put Elon's Tesla in the game in the Sol system? He would need to license the imagery, right, and the logo and stuff like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Another tourist beacon would be awesome.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
Either way would be so clever, right? To put that model in there and fly up to it. It would probably look so small Because that's the thing, right? Everything in this game is so much bigger than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, but like
the
going to
Cobra is like
Voyager,
the size of a house.
Voyager wasn't very large, and we fly out to that and we can take a look at it and stuff.
And
so
it
if
would
they had a
be
car
roughly
floating around, badass.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be roughly the size of a cargo canister, so.
Yeah, but those appear pretty small when I'm flying.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I'd
wait, it
want
would be bigger than that because
keep it.
the SRV can pick up cargo canisters.
Oh, see, there you go.
So it has to be bigger than that. Okay, so it wouldn't be that bad. I had not thought of putting the car into Seoul. I was thinking about it the other way around too. But hey, that's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure if he replied, it would have been in DM, right? But
yeah, well, he did say DM me. He didn't say.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, what was the actual tweet? Love to talk to you about something. Please DM me if you get a chance.
Yeah, want to put a model of a Tesla in my video game.
He was just curious what Elon's take on the BLT was.
I'm hoping.
All right. Well, we'll circle back to that, I guess. Okay. Well, at this point, this is when I would typically jump into squadron briefing. So I'm going to let Nurgle handle that. Let me play the sound.
All right.
Incoming priority message.
Oh, it's not working, is it?
Squadron
It's working.
briefing.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It cut off. Okay. I can't always tell. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah,
It works
close
on my
enough.
end.
Yeah, it's close enough. That goes in post edit anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah. So after embracing the model of unbridled expansion a couple of months ago and running wild for a little while, we find ourselves we're in Simikets in control. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Everybody calls it Sammy, but it's Simikets. We're in control.
It was like Simekemets. There's like an extra M in there somewhere.
It's Simikets. It's Simikets. Or Sammy, your choice.
Okay.
We all know what we're talking about. It's that long S name system.
Mm-hmm.
We finally, in the past week, won a war to take control of the controlling station, and now we're almost in a place to start a second war to try to take another asset. So a little bit more work to do there. We're in Alexandrinus. We're involved in an election with the controlling faction for control of the controlling station there. And this past week, after a BGS incident, which we shall not talk about, where we had a last-minute failure and ended up somewhere we really didn't intend to go. But, the BGF, they say the BGF giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah.
We ended up in Timor.
Who says
we
that?
are the people who deal with BGS. But we mostly we mostly say the BGF taketh away and the BGF taketh away.
Chig, it's okay when they say it to each other.
And they, yeah, but it's like they, as they say, and I'm like, he's one of the they, apparently. Got it.
I am one of it. Well, Trax did dub me the Overlord, so.
So I'm going to interrupt Squadron Update for a second because I realized I completely failed in introducing Nurgle to the podcasting audience. For those of you who aren't in the Discord and aren't up on what's going on daily with the in-game faction, which you don't have to be in. Well, why aren't you if you find it fun, and many people do, and a lot of people don't realize it's going to be fun. That's what really it comes down to. Anyone who starts getting into paying attention to BGS starts going, "Oh, whoa, why didn't I do this before?" But I'm sure it's not. I'm sure there's people out there it's not fun for. Anyway, the point is, Nurgle's sort of taking over this job that NL Hate usually reads because he's right there. He's right there in running our standing orders channel every day, dealing with all this stuff. What do we say? Top lieutenant, current overlord. I don't know what to say, but the point is, yes,
resident BGS geek, whatever.
Yeah. I've seen your spreadsheets, paper spreadsheets, by the way.
No. They're digital spreadsheets, but they're actual spreadsheets, yes.
If you take a picture of a piece of paper, it is digitized. True.
Oh, is that the excuse? Because I have definitely seen a picture of a piece of paper.
It's not a picture of a piece of paper. It's a PDF of an actual spreadsheet. I'm not that much of a masochist. I am not that much of a masochist.
All right.
No,
all right.
honestly though, if you come to our Discord and go to standing orders, he has very in-depth orders always up. There's always stuff to do. If you're thinking you're bored with this game, come check out the standing orders. You'll definitely find something to do.
In fact, let me tell you what, when one of these many hurricanes this year sent Nurgle out with real life things to do for several days, I tried to fill in for him by creating standing orders because there weren't any. And I had no idea what was going on. And boy, just like, I don't even know how do you format it like that? Like, it's so easy to read when he writes it. So anyway, we bow to your supreme BGS-ness.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, if you think back over the past few months, there have been a continuous evolution of those orders.
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to refine it to make it clearer, what we're trying to accomplish and why we're trying to accomplish it. That, and, sometimes I'll shamelessly admit, I've looked at another podcast's Discord and how they do their standing orders and pulled some ideas from that, because my decades of managing people comes down to you have a better chance of getting the result you want if you clearly explain where you want to go. So I always want those orders to be as clear as possible, so people understand not only what we're asking them to do, but why.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job with it, because I definitely do. Outstanding.
I appreciate that. And, you're absolutely right. BGS is certainly not for everybody. Some people are going to try it and find out, this is crazy. I don't like doing this. Others are going to become complete addicts like I am and spend more hours doing BGS during the week than they do actually playing the game. But we're not going to talk about that. But even if it's not your thing and you just want to help out, there's always something you can do to help. And chances are there's some part of the game you enjoy playing that we can make work for the BGS too. So you can still do what you enjoy and help the BGS.
Yeah, and the fact that you've done the standing orders channel and the BGS, just the chat channel and everything, is so great because, somebody who doesn't necessarily want to get into BGS with a capital B and a capital G and a capital S, it's like, what do I want to do right now? Well, I want a bounty hunt. Where should I do that? Look in the standing orders channel. I want to run cargo. I want to do, you want to do your material hunting, like missions for those biotech conductors and stuff like that. There's only one way to get those. Well, shoot, if you're friendly with the LSN faction, I know
you've got a better chance of getting that mission, right?
Right. So. Anyway, that was a massive interruption, but it's something I probably should have started the show with. So, anyway. And
then, bridging that gap back to where we were. Yeah. So this week, after, a rare BGS failure, we'll call it that, we ended up missing our target system, ended up in Timor, Tamor. So we're currently fighting an invasion war in Timor with a minor faction. Winner stays, loser goes. So that's kind of important. Mm-hmm. And again, if the boom booms are your thing, that is the place where you can go and do the boom booms and help the faction. And then I think we've kind of decided at the moment that maybe completely unbridled expansion might not be a thing for a while. Since
maybe rein that in a little.
We need to rein that in a little, because I think we've. At first, it was great because, we're fighting in this system, there's a lot of stuff to do. And then they brought back community goals, and they've got this whole Halloween thing going on, and people quite legitimately have other things that they're interested in, and there's probably a little bit of burnout going on at the same time. So maybe we need to rein it in for a little bit, kind of work on the systems we got, get some control, give people a chance to go off and unwind, some of the BGS people included. And maybe not have unbridled expansion.
Yeah, keep it a little closer to what's going to be comfortable for our player group size.
Yeah.
to maintain effectively. Yeah.
Because we've got, a handful of people who are just complete BGS nerds like me and Hate. And some of them, because especially, I'm at work from the crack of dawn till in the afternoon, and those BGS orders go up early in the morning. Those orders go up because we've got guys who can play during the day who are out running through systems. And I could not do what I do without them. They are fantastic, getting me the information I need to write those orders instead of having to do it, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I come home.
Yeah, I mean, some of those guys, Manitouk has been really good. One of the newer guys. He's
Manitouk and Jalaman.
Jalaman, yep. He's getting those scans for you all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. Tremendous help.
Crash,
Tremendous
still
help.
putting up big numbers.
Yeah. Pepper Grinder is supposed to be back at some point too, so.
You might as well keep Unbridled Expansion at that point.
Well, maybe we can kick it back off then. That's the beautiful thing about it. We can turn it off and on like a switch.
The switch
we're in what? Have we reached 10 systems, or are we at 9 right now?
We are at 10.
We are at 10. Okay,
it was our
double
9th,
digits.
Right. It was our 9th expansion, so it's our 10th system.
Wow, double digits.
And then I can't neglect to mention Comma after all the work we did to get into Comma.
So long.
The controlling faction in Comma, which is not us, is still a runaway freight train. They're like the unsinkable rubber ducky. And we're still hovering around 20% in Comma. I think we lost about 2% last night. And we don't control a station there yet. So there's still a lot of work to be done in Comma just to get us. We've got a foothold, but it's a tenuous one.
So in Comma, is there like a material trader there? Like, what is it that? Is it power play? Like, there's something that's drawing like random player activity in a big way.
There's a material trader, there's a tech broker, and it's a Leon Rui power play system.
Yep.
So it generates a lot of traffic. There's one faction, which is not us, which controls all the stations in the system. So trade and everything else is boosting them up in the background. And you have commanders who are flying through there who don't even know what the BGS is. And they don't know
that's where they want to buy their expensive stuff because they get a discount.
Right. Yeah. And they don't know it, but they're actually working against us. And that's nothing against them. They're playing their game and doing their thing. But it's a lot of headwind for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for laying all that out, of course. And just, we haven't talked about this kind of in a little while, but like the player minor faction, I guess is PMF, right? Minor faction.
PMF, yeah.
Yeah. That it actually kind of took a long time for us to all kind of get on board with actually putting one of those in the game. Because it involves conflicts, right? And a lot of what's going on, a lot of what you and Hate are doing in the background is negotiating with other player factions, because we're not trying to cause problems with people. We're trying to like have fun with everybody. I mean, this faction based on this podcast community, we're not aligned to some power. We're not out there trying to mess with people. We really want engagement from everybody, and we want everybody to feel comfortable. So it's the same thing. It's like, if you're a listener to the podcast, like, come join our community and play with people, because the game, like, if you think the game is good before you start playing with people, you're gonna have your mind explode.
It's a whole different experience.
It's insane. So anyway, so the faction is for everybody. You do not have to sign up to the squadron to work for it. You do not have to work for it to hang out with us. Work for whoever you want. It doesn't matter. But we do kind of put that update in there because that's, like it or not, we signed up for that faction, and then actually we left for the expedition. And partway through the big, the Distance Cruise expedition was, we actually thought we weren't getting it because, I think our first and second choice systems both didn't work out or something like that. And then all of a sudden it just popped up in like our third choice system or something, like a month later. And so it was sort of a surprise. And so we just haven't talked about that in many moons. And I just wanted to reiterate. So it's there. So for new players who don't know, it's there to check out if you want to. It can be a lot of fun. Ask about it in Discord. Discord is the place to be. This is me giving an audio thumbs up. Yeah. All right.
And we love answering questions. So if you have them, ask them.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, there's a whole questions channel in Discord. It's typically going crazy. I'm in there. Tons of people are in there. I mean, I'm probably the least important person in there answering people's questions. But if I can help somebody with a ship build, or anything, we've been playing the game a while. I'm still learning things. I'm still getting info from other people in the group. It's endless. So I remember being new enough to the game from a community perspective that I wanted to try to research things on my own, and I would feel sort of like embarrassed to be asking questions about that. It's like I'm a noob, right? But that is not how anybody sees it. Now that I am usually the one able to answer questions, that's not how anybody sees it. It's so exciting when a new person joins. What is this? Man, I'll talk about certain effects, and that we were talking about different weapon special effects from engineering and the ways that they kind of work on kind of a high level. I don't know. I get jazzed talking about this crap. I don't know why.
You're like the squadron's chief engineer.
You are.
I think I could pin that on Dubs, but I could be his deputy. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
But you've been posting walls of text with help for people lately.
I do wall of text. I do that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
have you cannot claim wall of text until you have hit the character limit on Discord.
I didn't know there was one.
There is one.
I have hit the character limit on the faction orders. So
I have hit the character limit, but only in DMs when it was questions that were not something that was happening in like the public setting. I've never hit it in a public message, but that's also because I use the return key.
Yeah.
Some of my, in fact, the crap I was posting this morning, the ship build, that definitely would have gone over, but I split it into like 4 messages because I was just kind of typing as I thought. Anyway. Yeah.
Last week,
kind of a problem.
Last week I tried to post the faction orders one day last week, and it told me I was over the character limit. That was my first reaction. What? There's a character limit? And then, wait, I have to edit this down?
How am I going to do that? Well, you can always split it into 2 messages, and it probably would.
No, just remove all the spaces.
It'll look like a tweet from Elite Dangerous Twitter account, which I suppose we could get to right now. Transition the show. So when I'm making that sound effect, I want you all to understand. I want you to visualize this. You remember Wayne's World?
Wayne's World.
Oh,
yeah.
So I'm doing this with my fingers.
We're dating ourselves there.
Yeah. All right. I'm sort of old. I don't know. Anyway.
We're not going to have that conversation on an open mic.
Oh, I was going to mention, you asked me to mention it and I didn't. Friend of the show.
Oh, yes.
Contributor in music, Derek, from my good friend and co-host on my other podcast. His birthday is today. So this is Thursday, the 29th of October. Derek, I believe, is 33. He's a youngin' from my perspective because I'm 37. I'm 37, by the way. I'm not that young. Everybody, I think, has the impression. Well, whatever.
You aren't that young.
People range around here. But I think I had somehow given the impression to a lot of people that I was a lot younger than that for some reason. But anyway,
some of us were driving before you were born.
All right.
And we must also
I am
mention,
a homeowner.
we must also mention that Derek is cool because Derek plays Destiny on PS4.
He does. Absolutely. Derek's a PS4-er, not an Elite Dangerous-er, but a PS4-er nonetheless. And Destiny's a big game for him. So anyway, happy birthday to Derek. He got himself a new iPad. Yay.
Awesome. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Derek.
All right. So I promised to dedicate the rest of this episode to the in-game news that's been going on. And why not, start with Galnet. The news articles that have happened since we last recorded include okay. So first of all, the Marlinists were already in refugee status, right? Before, but since then, the news is that the Federation, much to the chagrin of President Zachary Hudson, has agreed to offer asylum or sanctuary or whatever we want to call it to the Marlinist refugees fleeing the empire. This is fun and interesting because Hudson said no, and then his Congress overruled him, undermining his authority significantly, which we expect and are sort of following along because of this Starship One story that continues with one of his people close to him now being implicated in that, and so we're kind of looking eyes toward seeing some power shifting possibly going on in the Federation and this sort of stuff. So the Federation grants sanctuary, and then the very next day, there's an assassination attempt on Hadrian. That's why, see, now I'm listening to people speak with an English accent when they say this, and I thought they said Adrian. Hadrian Augustus Duval was wounded in an assassination attempt that the NMLA claimed responsibility for. So this is the terrorist wing of the Marlinists. Not wing, a terrorist sect. I don't know what to call them. But this is interesting to me, and tell me what you think, I guess, that because this is a Duval, but a Duval that is not in power, a Duval that is disowned, disavowed, disgraced from the Imperial family because it was, I guess, the lineage is not legitimate, or the lineage is the lineage of this person is a secret liaison between the late Commander Hector Jansen and a household slave. Oh no!
Yeah, imagine.
I know. Imagine what legitimate government could ever have people be involved with people who would do such a thing. Anyway, so discussion-wise, I think it's particularly interesting because that whole issue of it features prominently in the Galnet articles. These people are targeting not the Duvals that are in power, not people who are like seated ruling members of the government, but these people who essentially are also, in a way, enemies of the current government. So how does this square with their stated cause and of trying to like kind of overthrow the empire and install democracy instead and this sort of stuff?
Well, maybe let's alternate theory of the crime. Maybe these are the only Duvals that they can get past the security to get to.
Yeah.
So it's literally the low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And then any Duval is a Duval.
Any Duval is almost as good as a Duval.
Right. I mean,
could be. I think there's a lot of room for kind of theorizing where this all might go. And I mean, I guess we won't know until it all plays out, of course, but like I'm left thinking that there's definitely something else. There's definitely more to it. It's just I mean, whatever, they were able to plant bombs in these things. Wasn't one of those stations Ashling's home station? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe I'm making it up, and maybe, I don't know, somebody gave me this podcasting mic. I don't know.
Yeah, I see Duval, and I think Robert Duval, then I want to go watch Godfather. I don't know. I get lost in the whole thing. I'm confused at times.
And if we want the nitty-gritty of working inside the Empire, we probably need to get Hans Dieter involved.
That's right. We need to get some actual Imperials on here. Well, anyway, the story continues to evolve, and it's a lot of fun. This also marks the first week in quite a while, as I remember it, where there isn't a new community goal sprouting up from the ashes of the previous one. We're actually on a break. So the community goals to provide supplies to the Marlinist refugees have completed. So the supplies and then the defending of the supply runners both completed, both at tier 3, which means in this case, the systems which have been sort of funded supply-wise are LTT 3607, Charunder, and Enid, which are, you'll have to refer to the show notes for the spellings on those. So those are all done. And then it mentions, of course, in Galnet that these systems will have supplies, at least until the federal support comes in that was voted for, right under the nose of,
which raises an interesting question.
Yeah.
That raises an interesting question on the Fed side. So, all the Starship One stuff broke, and then Hudson says no to the refugees and gets overruled. Yep. Is that the equivalent of a no confidence vote?
I mean, stepping in that direction at the very least, right? It's showing here's what happens when you say something, it certainly doesn't carry the weight that it used to.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting bit going on the other side.
Right. I mean, both sides very upset about things that are happening. I see theories about certain aspects of this being kind of false flag things, but I can also see it not really needing any of that to happen. They both could just be, it is possible they're both satisfied. Both storylines are satisfied by not having any of that stuff, and they're just being coincident, and we could still be leading to some wild things. I don't know if it's going to be civil war on either side or some kind of conflict between them, as now they end up involved with each other. So, either way, set up for some things. So, I mean, I'm in game actually over at Fox Enterprise right now, ready to trade these things in. So here's an interesting thing. And I saw a post on Reddit about this, and I wasn't sure. I definitely was in the top 50% of the trade CG. But as I'm logging in now to collect my, I delivered 4,500 tons. I'm going in to collect my rewards. It's got me in the top 10 commanders. So I'm getting the maximum reward.
Wow.
And I'd heard someone post that. It also, this is going to be some bugs from today's back end update, I suppose, because I also see that there are 0 contributors to this community goal.
That's a problem.
So anyway, something's going on, and oh, look at that! The same thing's going on the combat CG. I was in the top 10% of this one, but now it has 0 contributors, and I am in the top 10 commanders with 11.6 million credits.
God, you're such an exploiter. It kills me.
Oh well, whatever. It's here. I just took the rewards. I guess they can come from my account. I did it live on the podcast.
It makes you wonder what kind of spaghetti is going on FDev's side.
Yeah, so something definitely. I mean, it seemed like all they needed to do today with the update was to add the stuff that's going on with the Halloween event that we're about to talk about. But yeah, I mean, spaghetti, right, leading to other random stuff like this kind of happening. They're working on it. I still don't there weren't patch notes. There wasn't anything to download. Just server side stuff. And even the Halloween like livery stuff was already out. I guess we could just bump over right now. Boom. Suddenly we're talking about the Halloween event.
You didn't make the segue sound.
There you go. Okay. So the Halloween event. Guess what, everybody? There's new livery stuff. They've been in there for a few days now. It's things like your pumpkin bobbleheads. There's a bat. There's lights, right? Cockpit lights with pumpkins. There's decals for the outsides of your ships. They glow in fun colors. They're pumpkins and witches and stuff. Very spooky. I shiver just thinking about it, honestly.
And reasonably priced, too.
Well, reasonably priced, I suppose. The holiday stuff, I don't know if you're joking or not. The holiday stuff is always more than the basic stuff. And it probably should be, right? I mean, this is fine. This makes sense, right? As far as the ARC's cost is concerned. Because a regular decal is like 50, and the holiday ones end up being 150. The same thing goes on with paint jobs, right? When the Black Friday, the midnight black paint jobs all come around again. They've been doing that for a couple of years now, I think, right? So midnight black comes back around. I mean, those are significantly more ARCs than most of the other paint jobs. Am I right?
Right. You were right.
Yeah. Okay. This is fine. I think that's fine, right?
I have no problem with it.
Yeah, whatever. It's ARCs. They also trickle down to you for free. It's not that much to support the developer of this game that we put so many damn hours into. I mean, come on. As far as like how much this game costs per hours of entertainment.
Exactly.
It's pennies.
Give me a break.
And everybody knows I'm all about the free market, and they should get whatever they can get for it. If people are going to pay it, let them charge it.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't like it, don't buy it.
With you. Right. And the thing is, that's just it. Like, the game is $7.50 right now. And guess what? You don't have to buy any livery. You can still play the game. And you don't have to put a pumpkin on your spaceship. But if you
thousands of hours in this game,
it would take you less than a week to afford the ARCs to put a pumpkin on your ship anyway. So, okay. So here's what else has been going on besides oh boy, it's about to get so spooky in here. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Well, okay, so besides the livery things, some images started to leak out onto I can't remember if it's Twitter or Instagram, probably both, that were a lot of ones and zeros, so obviously binary code, but they came out kind of one square at a time, and eventually we ended up with, I guess, 9 of these images before we had the full message, which I didn't write down. Oh my gosh. The full message from memory, which turns out to be, I guess minor spoiler alert, the stuff's been going on all week, but here's what's been happening. The message that has been slowly leaking out onto Twitter through Frontier's Twitter and Instagram accounts says, and I'm going to verify this in a second, but Coalsack Nebula, right?
Correct.
Coalsack Nebula, I think it said the stones. He keeps watching the stones.
Yes.
I think that was the full
perfect
message.
quote. I think that's pretty close, yeah.
It's pretty close. I was kind of paying attention to this as it came out, because each morning I'd see like what's been going on, being in the United States, having the different time zones from sort of the more appropriate times when these were releasing for the UK. It was happening in the morning is when I was catching up on what all was going on. And so it was kind of fun to kind of explore this not that difficult mystery. I mean, binary code is, we see that, we know what's going on, we go and decode it. But then a few other images come out. Eventually we have that whole thing. And then we get this Twitter post with a short video. It's essentially an audio transmission, which I believe I can play now. Here we go.
This is Dr. Murphy reporting. I'm a geologist, part of Professor Carver's planetary survey team, but I think they're all dead.
Cool.
Creepy.
Very creepy. So this message happened, and then, boy, if you were watching our Discord and various other Discords, of course, people trying to decode the video has sort of a waveform display. It's mostly the audio message, but there's some stars in the background. So we start theorizing, we're going to figure out where this is by looking at the stars. And then I actually, Professor Awan was looking at sort of the shape of the horizon line that's in shadow, and it seems like unusually smooth, right? And then he comes back a few minutes later, and sure enough, the buddies over at Canon put it together right away. The sort of bubble-shaped structures that are at a lot of the settlements. It's like this red and white. It almost looks like it's inflated. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so that pretty sure that's what was being used there. Anyway, none of that turns out to be anything. Like, this is the sort of chase that everybody's been on all week, right? It's like you're finding these things in the binary code. Oh, is there some other message on top of it and stuff? But anyway, we get this message. We get the Coalsack Nebula. Everybody flies their carriers out there. And then today, the server goes down for like 5 hours for this maintenance, and things start to pop back up. It's a lot of fun. We'll get into a little bit of it. None of us on the show right now, I think, have been out there personally or following it amazingly closely, but it is just happening today as we record. And it's like one of these things about like Thursday being our record day. Often there is something that happens today, and I just barely have time to even know about it before I'm supposed to podcast about it. But at the same time, I think I also don't want to move our record day because there's other shows going on different days, and I don't want to be messing with their thing or trying to all of that. So I don't know, whatever. This is sort of this is like back end talk that's happening right now live on the show, but
on-air production meeting.
On-air production, yeah, this is what's going on. I don't really feel like we need to change it. It's anyway, but I don't know exactly all the details, but there are systems out in the Coalsack Nebula that are being hunted through. There's a bunch of cool stuff that's been going on related to this message. And we can get into some of that maybe. But the other thing that I wanted to mention from the Elite Dangerous Community Managers team that came out today is this YouTube video. They did a stream eventually after some technical problems, but they also released this fairly short scripted sort of pre-produced video that I thought was a lot of fun. Did you guys get to see this?
No, I haven't.
Their holiday special. Okay, so I'm not going to try to play this one on the show or anything. For one thing, I don't know if I have permission. I didn't ask, but it's also it's better to see it. It's a video. It's not just them talking. They do this character bit. It's I guess basically like an Anchorman thing. So we've got Art being essentially the Ron Burgundy character, and then he's got the Bruce as a co-anchor, sort of correcting the dumb crap he says, and then Benedetti turning out as the weatherman. And you guys, it's not long. It's worth watching. It's a lot of fun. I think they did a great job with it. Bruce with his phony mustache he put on, and it's really cool. So they kind of do it like it's a news broadcast that kind of gets interrupted by this message that I just played a minute or so ago. And essentially said, go find it, go out and get them. Anyway, so tons of fun. Link in the show notes. That's you have to see it. I love these guys. I love that they're doing this crap for us. And
it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So, and they also followed that with a proper stream, actually talking about some things where they did address that, like a few things are going on in here. Like there are a few listening posts and crash sites and settlements and stuff that have been added as part of this Halloween story. One of them is not working yet. probably a good enough reason not to go through like the whole detail about what has been found. If you really want to know, I have included a Reddit link to sort of that's being updated all the time with what commanders have found out there. We talked about it and decided we probably didn't need to go over all the details here on this show because it's currently unfolding and one of the messages is still missing, but they're aware of that. And I don't know. It was also sort of fun to see them all together again and not just from their homes. So it's a little bit more of returning to normal that on the one hand, it's almost weird to see people together instead of being all socially distanced and everything. But it is a reminder of the way the world used to be.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just talking now. I'm riffing on this stuff. What do you guys think?
Well, me and my daughter are going to carve pumpkins tomorrow night, and we might just carve 2020 onto all of them because nothing's scarier than 2020.
Oh,
no
man.
kidding.
Yeah, well said. Okay. So before I'm about to transition totally off of Elite because of what you just said. The links are there. Is there anything else we need to say about this? I think watch the videos.
I'm saying
fun.
watch the YouTube video that they did. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. Great job to those guys, and yeah, loving it. On the topic of Halloween, I don't know what's going on in y'all's neighborhoods, but over here, we live on a neighborhood that's it's like one street. It's like two cul-de-sac, kind of next to each other in one long street. We've all decided that they're going to do it. They're going to do trick-or-treating reversed. So the kids in costume are going to stand in their driveways and the adults are going to go out of their houses and turn left. So we're all moving the same way and we don't run into each other and, sort of give out candy to the kids and they're each going to have like a bucket. And that way we don't have to like be approaching people's houses and all this stuff. So this reverse thing, and they're including a contest for who has the coolest candy bucket. Okay. So I wanted, in my head, I'm kind of thinking, well, okay, this is pretty cool. And my daughter's only 5, but I also don't want her to feel like this is crappy. On this most horrible of years. So I was like, okay, so a bucket contest. All right, I can do this. So I've got pieces for this and I'm planning on building it either tomorrow or Saturday when it'll actually be, but I'm planning on making a system of tubes so that you're gonna put the candy into like a funnel and it's gonna shoot down tubes and zigzag all around and then hopefully hit a bell at the end when it goes into the bucket. So I'm hoping that'll be by far the coolest bucket.
The best bucket.
I want my daughter to have the best bucket.
Just don't let anybody kick it.
Yeah, no kicking the bucket. 2020 is bad enough already.
Well, that's funny you said that because our town, they don't know, where I live, it's about 100,000, we're not a big city by any means,
okay.
A decent sized city. And they didn't know if they're going to do trick-or-treating, even allowed in town. It's just been, kind of, a typical 2020 shit show kind of thing where nobody knows what's going on. So we decided we're going to do a fire in the backyard. And, I've got a fenced-in yard. And if people want to come up and trick-or-treat, we're going to have treats for them and, maybe some beers for the adults. If they want to trick-or-treat, we'll toss them a beer. And that's what we were going to do. And then it now has escalated to where we're doing like a full-on carnival in the yard. We're going to have masks if people aren't wearing their own masks, But like, I told you I'm doing this bathroom, renovation thing. So, like the new bathtub came in a giant box and the, trying to think of what else, the glass doors, for the shower, that are replacing the good old shower curtain we used to have, we're getting the big, those came in a giant cardboard box. And, Don't
So you get a
remember,
lot of
but
extra
we had all
cardboard
these
laying around.
giant
You're-
pieces of cardboard. So
You're saying
literally,
you have good material.
my wife has made. Yeah, I've had to run to Home Depot not just for bathroom renovations to grab paint and stuff like that because my wife made an actual full-size coffin out of cardboard that somebody's gonna be laying in. There's a ticket booth that you come when you walk up. There's a whole like beanbag toss thing. It's like 6 feet tall with holes in it that people can throw beanbags in and throw candy back at them and all
You
kinds
had
of
a
crap.
lot of cardboard.
So it was a lot of cardboard. I'm trying to think of what the other thing that came in cardboard that was just freaking huge. Oh, instead of tiling around the shower, I got lazy and I got the surround. So that was, like a 6 foot
that's a
by
lot.
6 foot box. That was a giant
Whoa.
freaking box. So, it's was a lot of freaking cardboard. And yeah, made a giant ticket booth. I'll probably take some pictures of it. We got, one of those 12-foot inflatables, pumpkin head dude in the front yard. And
awesome.
it's going to be a giant carnival. Wow. There might not be anybody that comes around. So my daughter, her best friend lives across the alley. So, she's always over here, got to social distance and all that. I understand that. But, they've been hanging out forever. It's family. It's my other daughter. We actually have jokingly adopted her and stuff. So she's going to be over here.
You're kind of like in the same pod, right?
Exactly.
Like you guys,
exactly.
Yeah.
You're around them all the time anyway. They help each other with schoolwork, and when me and my wife are at work, my daughter goes over to their place. So it's that we're one big family. So she's going to be over, and they're going to kind of run the carnival and do all of that stuff, and that's our solution to just having some kind of holiday.
I should have let Chig go last. There's no way I can compete with that. I mean, now, different perspective. My youngest child is 18. So,
right.
It's been a while since we were big into Halloween, but we've got some friends who live in another part of town who Halloween is their thing. They go all out for this. Their whole neighborhood
falls on a Saturday this year.
Yeah, they do a whole big thing. So for the past... great 12 13 years, because my youngest child and their youngest child went to school together. So for the past 12 or 13 years, we've just gone over to their house and had this big group of 40 or 50 people. We get all the adults, we get this herd of children, we go all through this neighborhood, and that's been Halloween for more than 10 years. And we're not doing that this year because of social distancing and because 2020 sucks.
Yep.
So this is literally the first time we're going to be at home for Halloween in recent memory. So we don't know what to do. And in order to maintain social distancing, I've got a nice long piece of PVC pipe, and I think we're just going to sit on the porch and shoot candy to kids that come by, if there are any.
Candy cannon.
And my wife
the
said
air
that
compressor.
when I told my wife that's what I was going to do.
Ballistic candy.
Yeah. When I told my wife that's what I was going to do, she said, "You can't be shooting the kids." I said, "I'm not making a potato gun. It's just a piece of pipe. Gravity will take care of it."
You're spraying hairspray in the bottom of it and lighting it every time.
Don't tempt me.
I like it.
Don't tempt me.
That's what I do.
But like I said, it's been, again, more than 10 years since we were home for trick-or-treaters. I don't even know if we have any kids in the neighborhood that are going to come by. It may just be me sitting on the porch with a bucket of candy and a beer all night.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now that I say it out loud, it doesn't sound that bad. But, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have, just kind of something different, and it'll be memorable. It'll just add something else, to this fucked up year.
Right.
Hopefully something memorable. Yeah.
Right.
Memorable in a good way.
Right. What I was thinking, like, I want it to just do something crazy so that it doesn't feel like you just let it not happen or something,
Right.
Try to have some kind of fond memory, of at least something. Jesus.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like I've gotten away so easily from all of this because this might seem weird, but I'm like a really introverted person, and like I do not derive my personal energy from like hanging out with a lot of people all the time. In fact, I find that kind of draining.
Yes.
I'm right there with you.
which I guess puts me in a weird position to be like doing 2 podcasts for years and years, but that's not the same thing. Like that's the thing people misunderstand. Like being like a kind of almost shy or maybe just introverted person doesn't necessarily mean that this stuff is off limits. But
I said earlier on Discord, I said, I'm a giant racist. I hate the human race.
That is a giant race.
So I'm perfectly, I'm the same as you. I always say that, but then when I'm in a group, I end up having fun and talking,
Right.
My work years ago made us go through one of those personality profile things. I should clarify a job I'm no longer at, but anyway.
Okay.
And it's mostly garbage, but one of the things that came back on it was, and I'm an introvert too. It's got this scale that's way over to the introvert side, and part of the analysis says it's not that you don't like people and that you can't be around people or be open and that type of stuff. It's that you find that exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely true. I can do that. I can be open and outgoing and,
right.
laugh with everybody else. But at the end of the night, God, that's tiring.
Yeah, I got to take a few days off.
Yeah, I got to recover from that. So, my wife's sister put this best. It's, introverts of the world unite separately in your own homes.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, and I feel like, for people who are the opposite of that, and I know plenty, plenty of my friends who just really are like, it's devastating for them to have to stay separated from everybody all the time. For me, and I think, maybe this is a little bit like there's like a stronger demographic of the gamer population, right? That would be it. Well, that's the meme, right?
Yes,
the GIF of like, I've been training for this my whole life, social distancing.
Yes.
I really do kind of feel that way in a certain sense. Like I feel like I lose almost nothing. And I'm also so comfortable, I've moved from where I grew up and just being close with my closest friends from a distance like this, like doing a podcast with Derek, that's the life I've kind of established. And I feel like it's been fine, but I have a feeling my daughter is not an introvert. She's only 5, but I have a feeling. So, but I think it's good. We'll figure out, keep your head about you and don't forget that this pandemic exists, but we learn to live and we make fun and let's make something that doesn't suck out of it all. So.
Right.
Amen.
And she's only 5. All kids at 5 are extroverts. Give it time.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't really know what her personality is going to turn out to be. But so far, she's way more outgoing than my wife or I are.
Yeah, she hasn't met enough people to realize they all suck yet.
Exactly.
Give her time.
Exactly. Let it breathe. She'll come to her own conclusions.
All right.
God, we're cynical old men.
Well, somehow I feel like we did maybe an okay podcast tonight. The one other thing that I was going to mention, I caught the latest episode of Lave Radio, and they did a very nice little shout out to Loose Screws podcast, in particular Ty, taking his time off and wishing him well. And I thought that was really nice of them. And we're not forgetting about Ty, and we're planning on this whole thing still being here when he is able to come back. That is my hope and goal, and I hope everybody else is on that same page. I'm pretty sure that they are. So that's our goal. The community will continue, and it will be here when he is able to return, and we'll all be happy about that. It will be triumphant. That's my plan. So,
right on.
Yeah. We're just keeping the lights on.
Yeah. I think so much of the game that I enjoy is just the community, and so much of it happened just because of this podcast. It's almost like now the community drives the podcast. It's, it may have started the other way around, but now I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let go this thing where I can have friends here all the time.
Yeah, I got away from multiplayer gaming, for a number of years. I was playing console games with my daughter and stuff, and I really resisted, starting playing multiplayer in this game. I was, I don't know, 500 hours into it or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I started listening to, first Lave Radio, then Loose Screws, and then one day I decided to hop on this Discord, and it just opened up this game, and now I've got, a lot of new friends that I didn't have before, and it is about this community that, probably the only reason I still play this game. I mean, I love the game. I'd probably still hop on, maybe once a week and fly around a little bit and stuff. But now I try to hop on every day, at least for a little while, just to see how everybody's doing and play the game for a little bit. And yeah, we got a hell of a group of guys. So, hey, come join us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of people, myself included, have that same story. I mean, my original exposure to Elite was on a Commodore 64 in 1984. Yeah, I know Chigs too. But, and then I got out of...
I played that version in a browser.
Yeah.
On your phone.
Youngin'. But, and then I was out of any type of multiplayer PC gaming for a very, very long time. In fact, didn't have a gaming PC. And then my kids, I know, scary, isn't it?
Blasphemy.
My kids,
terrifying.
My kids got me
Halloween shit right there.
but my kids, as they got to the point where they were getting into gaming, pulled me into a PS4 and to Destiny. Shout out Derek. And I've, Destiny was pretty much the only game I played for 4 or 5 years. And then I got the itch to get back to playing Elite again. And I'm a huge podcast listener to begin with, so I started browsing around for podcasts. Hey, let's check out this Loose Screws podcast. These guys sound like they're having fun. And then got pulled into the community. And like Chig, if it wasn't for the community, I don't know if I'd be playing. There's just so many interesting people. And the game, once you play it with other people, is completely different. It's a completely different experience, solo versus with a group of people.
Yeah, and that's not to say that you can't just do your solo shit when you're with, in a group. We've got people in our Discord that also decide to go out on an expedition by themselves, but now they can hop in Discord and bullshit with the guys, or they, something screws up on them and they can ask questions in the Discord. They're not out there alone. It's it still can be a solo game, but you're not alone. I don't know. That's funny coming from us who just talked about how much we like to be alone.
Yeah. Well, but that's one of the great things about this video game and this community. You can be an introvert and still have a group of people supporting you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a lot of people who've talked about that personal thing. They've got social anxiety or they've had other issues in their life. And I'm just so happy when somebody talks about how they love how our community has embraced them and they felt comfortable to come out of their shell and have some fun amongst us because, they feel comfortable. And, we don't have any douchebags. We just don't.
Well, we're not going to tolerate that.
we wouldn't, but
other than myself, of course.
Other than your racist ass.
Make sure you don't cut that quote in half later. And post that somewhere. That could cause trouble. Don't want to get canceled.
Okay. No, we don't, and we don't have jerks come in here, but it's this self-fulfilling thing. Like a group like this where we are friendly, like you can't start with that. Like it can't, it just doesn't happen. Nobody's going to come in here and they won't. I don't know. It requires no policing, at least so far. I don't know. I mean, I suppose at a certain point where
don't put that out there.
Well, I've been challenging people to send me hate mail for
and honestly,
months.
we're not saying douchebags and assholes are welcome. Come on in, have fun. I have a feeling you'll probably just get chased off. But I just and I mean not in a mean way. You just wouldn't fit in. I just
it wouldn't. it wouldn't be fun for them to behave that way. Here's what I think. I think if somebody who was kind of a trollish presence in how they typically behave in this game or other games or in Discords in general, I think if they came in here, it would become impossible to behave that way. They would either leave or they would just kind of take on they would read the room. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they wouldn't really be able to not do that. And it would require somebody who's like actively trying to be a jerk. Cause that's the thing. Like there's a difference, right? Between somebody who just doesn't, just is kind of mean or something, and then somebody who's actually trying to be mean. In either case, it's just not going to happen. But boy, I've not had to police anything in this Discord, so it's not hard so far.
That's not an invitation for anybody to try.
No, but it's a quick switch on the bot anyway.
Yeah, you could literally just hop in and just insult us and leave too. We're fine with that.
Yeah, drive by. Yeah,
drive by insults. Well, I'm good. That's welcome.
Of course. Chig, I don't think I asked you for a cheese yet today.
We haven't even done a Chig chat.
That's always at the end of the show.
That's true. We didn't do it.
We didn't do a Chig chat either.
Did you have a Chig chat, man? I'm sorry. It
was kind of. Let's just don't play the Chig chat thing. This will just be real quick. I wanted to thank everybody. Last week, I freaking just really grasped at straws, picked a Chig chat, and all of a sudden, I go with the BLT thing, and I think we had more responses to a Chig chat than we ever had before. I mean, I think McPherson throwing the egg on it, or no, what's his face said that? Oh, God.
Scroll up.
I am. I'm scrolling.
Intensifies.
We have too many damn channels.
And I want you to know, because of that Chig chat, yesterday for lunch, my wife and I, BLTs, while we waited for the hurricane to come in.
Roger Rabbit said a belt, BELT, is the way to go. Bacon, a fried egg, lettuce, and tomato. That was a brilliant idea. And then Teflon said,
that man
serve
knows
it
how to
on
sandwich.
grilled cheese sandwiches. But that's what you use for your bread, is instead of toast, you use 2 grilled cheese sandwiches. That's a great idea also. But I mean, honestly,
a brand new Discord user, or brand new to our Discord, I should say, that person.
Yeah, but
so
I
would
add, McPherson is the one who went like off on all high-end ingredients and just went crazy on me. So yeah, there's some great ideas, and I want to jump on that. Oh no, oh my God, Diani Symbiont. I don't know what that means. He's the one who went with specific avocados, specific onions, even a specific olive to have on it.
Yes.
He got very specific, and I loved that all of this was in there. So all I was going to do tonight with Chig Chat is I was going to say, because of these great ideas, I just want to know your favorite sandwich. I want some ideas for a sandwich. I mean,
blow the doors open.
I'm a guy who eats freaking anything. I'm like, I've always said, I wish that there was a restaurant in town like called, what's for dinner or something. You just show up and you just have whatever they happen to make for dinner. I could eat at a place like that because I would show up and just be like so excited to see what's going to be for dinner. But here's the worst sandwich I ever had. I'm just going to throw this one out there.
Okay.
Thanksgiving leftovers one year, go to the fridge and was thinking about pulling out the turkey. And then I saw, like the meat and cheese platter had some stuff left, and we had dinner rolls left over. So I'm like, okay. So some extra sharp cheddar cheese. Ooh, some garlic summer sausage. Oh, there's some Dijon mustard. And then all of a sudden
the snacky sliders.
And then I look and I go, pickled herring.
Oh no.
Would normally put a pickle, decided to go that route. Put that on one of those. I ate 2 of them. Now,
there's your problem.
This was the day after Thanksgiving.
I can't help but notice you're still alive.
I was actually working. No, the story gets a little bit sickening.
Okay.
Very tasty going down. And I thought I would eat that again. I'm like, I invented a great new sandwich. Instead of pickles, I'll go pickled herring. I'm so genius. I'm driving back up to work. And November in Duluth, it's cold, so all the windows are up in the car and everything else. And I burped. The smell that came out of me from a burp, I had to put down all 4 windows on the car. And I will never eat anything like that again.
Oh, that's not right.
No, that was, not a pleasant experience. So that's not the kind of sandwich I'm looking for. Something pleasant, a Reuben or get creative. I mean, my daughter's favorite sandwich when I used to have to make her lunch was a PB&J, but it would be on a tortilla. I'd put the peanut butter and jelly on a tortilla.
Oh my
and
God,
roll it
I
up.
make that for my daughter.
Yep, that's
She
what
loves
she went
it.
to school. Yep, her school lunch was that almost every day.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah, but she also, her favorite tacos is taco meat and strawberries. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Whoa.
I'm going to
it's
throw
really
this
weird.
out here to you.
All right.
Yeah.
BELTH. Bacon,
the-
lettuce, tomato, fried egg, Havarti cheese.
Havarti.
Oh, there
Okay.
we go.
Oh,
I think Havarti
makes
can work on a sandwich. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very.
Yes.
Havarti definitely works on a cheese. That was cheese of the week in episode 48.
Yes, it was.
That's right. I was pretty sure we had that once. I love that you have a list, by the way, that was that quickly accessible. Tell me it's on a whiteboard above your computer monitor or something.
No, I wouldn't risk it getting erased. Are you crazy?
Painted right onto the wall then?
Etched into stone. That's the only way I write.
Wow. Okay. Coming back to that next week. But for now, for me, breakfast food is the food of the gods.
Yes.
I would.
All right, Ron Swanson.
If well, whatever. Hey, the shoe fits. Whatever. If I go to a restaurant and discover it's a breakfast all day kind of place, there's no other option for me. My daughter and I have a tradition where at least I shouldn't say at least once a week we'll do Brenner.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows it's coming. Usually Tuesdays, because that's usually my wife's choir day. She's not as much of a fan. Anyway, so everybody, the fried egg on the BLT. I didn't even know I wanted a BLT that bad until somebody mentioned that you could put a fried egg on it. Fabulous.
Yes.
So certainly my favorite sandwich is going to be, can I just say generally the breakfast sandwich? I mean, in all its variety.
So two things to add to that. One, if you think a fried egg is good on a sandwich, put it on a hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, a hamburger is a sandwich. Come on.
And two, inquiring minds want to know, is it Brenner or is it BFD, breakfast for dinner?
It's Brenner.
Oh, Brenner.
See, for us, it's BFD. It's breakfast for dinner.
Okay.
And BFD for us is probably a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Actually, you talk about your daughter liking milk. I just want to say you did the Brenner thing. I did that, but would put green food coloring in the scrambled eggs. So she'd have green eggs and ham. Another one I did is one day I told her we're having octopus for supper. She's like, "What? Octopus? Gross. We're not having that." I mean, she must have been 5 or 6 years old at the time, and I'm like, "Oh, you're having octopus." And she's loves mac and cheese now. That's always been her favorite food. So I made a bowl of macaroni and cheese, and I fried up a hot dog and then cut the hot dog from about an inch down so that it had legs, and put that on top of the thing, and even put eyes on the head of the hot dog. And she had an octopus and mac and cheese for dinner. So I got stuck doing that for like a year every week. And we do
Awesome.
hot dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
It's hard to argue with the breakfast sandwich. Hard.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Eggs, bacon, sausage. It's all so good.
Yeah.
Actually,
whatever you want to do.
you're talking to a guy who put pickled herring on a sandwich. So
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that anymore.
I'm having smell flashbacks. Let's carry on. So now let's go cheese of the week, right?
Let's do it.
Right.
Cheese me.
All right. It can only be one. You realize that, right? It's Halloween week.
Herring?
Oh, no, it's Halloween week.
What's the Halloween cheese?
Munster?
Wait. Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Munster, that's a good old American cheese. It's always has that like orange coloring around the sides of it that actually gives it flavor. It's a great melting cheese. It's a good one to add a grilled cheese sandwich or macaroni and cheese or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's the cheese of the week. You know, it's Halloween. I've been saving that one for a while. So Munster, everybody. Stay cheesy.
Munster. Fabulous. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Chig, as always, for the wonderful chat. Some of it was even about Elite Dangerous.
Some of it was.
Nurgle, thanks for joining us. Hope to see more of you around, of course.
Anytime.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, hope everybody's still enjoying the show. While we transition a little bit, I am going to try to do a little bit of a better job of not sounding like I have no idea what I'm doing, because I've been making podcasts for a long time and I really have no right to act like I don't know what I'm doing.
Man.
It's part of the charm of the show, too.
Well, that's true. I suppose there is inevitably going to be a personality shift, and that's fine. It is still elite, it is still Elite Dangerous. It is still Loose Screws. It's still loose and a little screwy. That's the size of it. So anyway,
everybody have a great Halloween and get out and vote if you haven't.
Yes.
Yeah. Do the thing, man. If you haven't,
stay safe and vote.
We sent it in already, of course, but if you have, yeah. Well, I hope your lines aren't too long, and stay safe while you're doing it. So, all right, let's call it. Good,
all right, bye
show.
everybody.
Right, take care. Bye.
Our time is done here. We thank you for yours.
That was great. I like that. All right. See you later.